One of the things that you'll see in VR that is almost exclusively unique to it is the experience genre. These are not games necessarily, but they're things that you're just kind of passively experiencing. Perhaps you're flipping a few switches, but it's really there so that you can go to something or see something that you've never seen or would not be able to see.
This is honestly my least favorite category of VR. I can see a practical application for it, but as a gamer, it's not really something that's up my alley. This is more something that really well shows off the tech, or you can use to display a product.
With that in mind, here's the best of experience VR games. Number 3 is a game called Above, which is a title where you are spending the last 15 minutes of your life just kind of hovering above the Earth after your space station is destroyed by debris.
Which is just altogether terrifying. I'm just imagining my body burning up upon re-entry.
And that's where the strength of this game comes in. It's 99 cents, it's incredibly inexpensive, and it is a game where nothing really happens, but you find yourself spending 15 minutes of meditative silence just thinking about what you would do in that situation. It's very unique in that sense. It's incredibly simple, but we think it works.
Now keep in mind, Moriarty is one of the deeper of us, I suppose. He has the capability to have those type of deep thoughts. Maybe some other people will just be imagining, the flight speed of a laden African swallow and random Monty Python jokes as they're floating above the surface of the Earth waiting to expire.
For me, I found myself purposefully moving my body over the location of the homes of loved ones and friends and family so that I could imagine what I would feel like in that moment. I really immersed myself in it so that I could truly experience that moment. And I think that's the value of both this type of genre and a game like this. It's not an expensive time. You're going to be through it in 15-20 minutes, and you can experience that and see if it's the type of thing where you actually have those kind of moments or not without any sort of guilt. You're not spending $35 on it to find out that it doesn't fit for you. If you're the type of person that would reflect and be introspective like that, I think Above is very interesting and super unique.
And you'd have the prestige of being the 5th person to expire outside of the Earth.
Speaking of going into space, number 2 is Go for Launch Mercury.
I think I'm seeing a pattern here.
And what pattern is that?
The first one you died in space, and the second one you go to space. Is this Tarantino? Are we Tarantinoing this?
There's always got to be a story, right?
I guess. So Go for Launch Mercury is at its core a simulation experience. You are an astronaut that is in charge of running a space shuttle and launching it out of Earth's atmosphere using the primitive computers that were available in the 1960s. So good luck.
Every single shuttle in the game, and there will eventually be 7, is painstakingly recreated from the actual shuttles that were used, from the actual spacecraft, which means that you get to experience as close of a replication to actually blasting off into space in the 1960s as you can possibly get today without going to one of the very expensive shuttle simulators, which will rattle and vibrate and all of that. This is the closest you can get at home. It's very, very neat. And it's absolutely gorgeous if your computer can handle it. It's very, very pretty. It's very unique. You get to do a 20-30 minute experience per shuttle going into space and landing it, doing separations, and seeing what it's like in one of these tiny little capsules where you're basically trusting a few inches of steel to keep you away from the cold vacuum of space.
The cold, cold vacuum of space.
And then for those of you who decide to go completely insane thinking about space, we have our number 1 choice, which is Accounting VR.
Accounting VR is so easily at the top of this list that it's not even funny. This game is completely free, and it is a blast. You're going to love it. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, you're going to love it. If you're not a Rick and Morty fan, you're still going to love it because it's just absolutely zany, interesting fun.
This comes from the developers of Dr. Langeskov, the blood diamond, tiger, emerald, and the heist of which, where, whatever.
I feel like you muffed that, but we're gonna roll with it.
It's also from the developer of the Stanley Parable, so if you like that kind of game, you're gonna get a kick out of this. It's all about comedy and fun and just kind of irreverent humor. It gets a little dark at times, and it's actually one of the few experiences that people have said have made them physically ill, not because of the movement, but because of the things that are happening in it. There are a couple of moments that people cannot get past, which makes this one of the more controversial and interesting experiences as well.
I did not know that this game physically made people ill. I'll say that I had a blast, and I probably played through it like 5 different times.
It's incredibly neat, and every time you play through it, there's different things to experience, different things to try. Once you start getting into it, and you really do spend the maximum amount of time in every single set piece, you're going to have spent an hour or two time in this game, and you're going to have experienced so many neat things. This is a game that we often talk about when we're trying to say, here's what you can do in VR. This is a pretty perfect VR game because you can't really complain about free.
Not that it's a game, it's an experience.
It's as close to a game as an experience gets.
Without actually being a game.
Because of this, we absolutely recommend it 100%. You can go get it for free right now. And so you should.
If you have not, you've got some issues.
There you go, guys. That's our best of experiences list. This is what we think people who are looking for something a little bit more introspective or perhaps a little bit more irreverent without actually having to play a game will be interested in. What do you think? Let us know below. Maybe we've missed one. We'd love to hear a comment from you. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, why don't you go ahead and watch another video up in the corner. And as always,
we'll see you on the next one.